So here we check on the stuff that we did. We pulled the engine from this stage. The engine bay is empty. Of course, we pulled it out, and you can check episode 1 so to see what we found out and what were the problems were and how we fixed it and solved it. Even degree the cams. And here on the GSR cams, you'll see your favorite, or actually our favorite, we compression test before start up, like that. And of course the initial startup so that it's already primed. And of course I drive around so for you guys to see, so you know this one may just be for you. Now, as in the earlier episodes, we built this engine for you guys and closed it up. And you can check on the first episode, even on the second episode, about the problems of the bearings that we encountered. And now it's here. It's on the car itself. It's on the SiR. Now it looks really good. And the props of the owner for painting the valve cover gold. It actually works. I mean, it looks really clean, right? Look, I don't mind that. I mean, I won't mind driving all this because, hey, this looks good. And if you guys remember, we compression test in the first episode, and now let's go to this one. And mind you, this hasn't started yet, as in zero cranking. So this is just our way to check if everything is good, and by the time we start up, it's already primed and good, and the oil pump and the oil pressure, right? So let's go. Now here's my colleague doing the compression test while I crank up the ignition. All right, let's go. Okay, 225. Yeah. Okay, now we go with cylinder number 2. All right, let's go. All right, 225 also. That's good. Oh yeah, 225 or 226. But mind you, this hasn't run yet. Okay, now here on number 4. Oh yeah, 226. So now let's go back to number 1 just to be sure.
Sige.
Oh, nice. All right. So now know that this has absolutely zero runtime. It hasn't even started yet, and 0 miles, obviously. So, as you rack up miles, let's say by the 100th mile marker, this probably would get to 240 or even 250 psi. So that's promising for us. So hopefully this time the improvements in power is gonna be there, right? And the reason we do the compression test before running is because now the oil pump is fully primed. So let's go for the startup. Yeah. And this compression test is our chosen approach before startup. People can avoid this and all that. It's just that we like to do this way before even starting the car. We already know if there's something that we're gonna find that's erroneous or something wrong before even starting the car. And of course, locally, some people would say, oh, if you get a good break in, it'll just equalize the compression test. It may not equalize, because the lower one would probably go higher. But how about the high ones, right? So even before startup, you can see we build it quite consistently, right? And that's what you got to be aware of locally.
Sige, start.
Now we go for startup. Oh, that alarm's really good. It's one click because it's already primed. Yeah. Now, off camera, or in this case, off the phone, we actually let it run for like 30 minutes or so to get it to warm up. And once fully warmed and the radiator fan turns on, we shut it down and completely drain the oil while it's hot or warm. This way, any debris that's gonna be in the oil doesn't get to settle at the bottom. It'll just go drain with the oil itself. And if you watch the first episode, that was probably the case in this engine when it was rebuilt previously by a previous place. I don't know where, but you can see the oil holes has a scratch or striking mark that's coming from the debris on the oil. So after operating temps, we change the oil once again, and we will advise the owner that from between 700 to 1000 kilometers, do a change oil. And after that, the normal cycle will start, like, the normal interval, I mean. But for the early days or the period early has to be good. And that is a good foundation for a durable, long living engine. Just like this one, Jasper ECU Later's B20 Vtec EF, that's been racing since 2017. That's 5 years. And it's a B20 Vtec with just stock rods and ARP rod bolts and 1-up pistons. It's been running 12.501 seconds. Not bad, right, for durability. Now let's go with the maiden drive. We'll take it easy for now, but we're gonna try to feel it like that. And actually, it runs quite good, quite decent. A bit more responsive than usual. So that's a promising sign. Yeah, this is gonna be quite good. I'm sure. I mean, hopefully, because the owner will have this dyno. Then let's see the results after. And so hopefully you guys followed the whole series because we did talk about everything like bearing clearances and all the other problems that we encountered and how we solved it. Okay, so now let's drive some more. Yeah, it's actually quite fun to drive, because it's quiet, not too noisy. Look, I mean, listen, sounds good. See, it sounds really good. It's not too noisy, so that's the typical car that I want. Because hey, sorry to say this, but we're actually getting old. We're done with noisy cars. No noisy rattle cans. That's for kids stuff and kids that run slow. Anyways, yep. You can see this is actually quite fun to drive. And look at here. In the evening, it's all parked up. Look, a night prowler ready to tear up the streets, right? With all the good stuff in the engine. And of course, just because I just want to tell you guys everything, is before you follow the rest of the series, here's the rest of the stuff that we did. I mean, the clearances. Like on the bearings, like we chose OEM Daido or Taiho brand. So the mains are 0.0015 of an inch and the rods are 0.0018. Of course, the ARIAS pistons piston to wall clearance we chose is 0.003. That's been working for us, and because this is 81.5, we got to choose that and tell the machine shop. And the first ring, or the top ring as they say, is 0.014 ring gap of an inch, and that is really really good in my book at least. So this, we know, is gonna be running really good. And of course, the other things you gotta check the rest of the series. Like for example, on episode 1 and 2, we talked about the changes that we need, and of course, the damages that we saw on the main and rod bearings, and also the cause of why that happened. And of course, we actually degreed the CTR B16B Type R cams. This way, we know it's correct and it's installed correct, and we actually reference the stock cam gear to get this aftermarket adjustable cam gear properly set. So it's gonna be really good. So the series, or each of the episodes, are gonna be good for you guys. So hey, you know what? To help you guys out on episode 1, guess what? You can click right here for that.